Fracking, or hydraulic fracturing, is one of the most controversial subjects in the world of energy. Some hail it as the perfect transition fuel to tide the energy sector over until sustainable energy has had sufficient development to take over, and as a far cleaner alternative to coal power. However, others claim that it is a dangerous method of fuel collection, both from a human and an ecological perspective, and that it distracts from the real concern of developing sustainable energy. In this film, we will be looking at the scientific arguments for and against fracking and evaluating its place in the developing energy sector.
Fracking is the process by which water and a cocktail of other chemicals under extremely high pressure are pumped into high-density shale rock containing natural gas. The gas is trapped by two high-density rock to be released by regular means. The liquid is pumped to open up fissures in the rock, releasing the previously trapped natural gas. The gas is then combusted at a gas-fired power station to provide energy.
As part of our investigation, we interviewed various university students on their view on fracking. The public perception gathered from this sample was almost entirely negative.
Yes, I have heard of fracking.
I have indeed.
Vaguely. I mean, I've seen kind of things in the media about it, but I don't know a huge amount about it.
Yes.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because, well, we just have to look at the experience in the US, the contamination of groundwater there and the pollution that it's caused, subsidences in places like Ohio. To see that this is just not a good way to source our energy. And plus, you know, it's just switching from one set of fossil fuels to another set of fossil fuels. It's still going to be generating carbon dioxide, it's still going to be destroying the planet, so it's really not the way.
I think it's ridiculous. I don't think we should test these things that could actually hurt our environment and hurt our own homes and societies.
Well, from what I've heard, no, it's not entirely. I've heard that it's kind of bad for the environment, so no, I don't think it is hugely safe.
It's just really bad for the environment. I don't see why we need to keep concentrating on fossil fuels when there are so many alternatives available, such as wind power, solar power. We should be concentrating our efforts on this and not trying to destroy our environment even more.
I think it's through petitions and campaigns sort of against it. Like, sort of
Near my grandma's house, they said that there was going to be like a trial fracking thing, and obviously there was loads of signs and banners saying no to fracking, and obviously that means there must be something bad about it because there's no smoke without fire.
Just kind of through the news, I suppose, and you know, just things that I've seen in the media. Also, I believe we covered it at GCSE chemistry a couple of years ago, but I can't remember much from there.
I heard about it through several different, I've heard about it first in geology, and then I went on to several different forums that I'm part of in terms of like saving the environment and stuff like that. And that basically led me onto the information about why it's so bad for basically the environment, and that's basically where I get most of my news. I hear about it sometimes on the news, obviously because of protests, but I usually discuss it on forums with my friends.
I'd organise against it. I'd get involved with environmental groups, see if I can try and stop it. It's not something I want in my house.
I suppose negatively then, because obviously I've said, you know, it's bad for the environment and things like that. I mean, you know, I guess I'd react negatively towards it.
I wouldn't be happy at all, really. I'd probably organise something, like try and get it shut down, or at least try and limit its impact on the environment, because it's just too destructive, really, for our own good.
I didn't know that, but well, I suppose it's lesser of two evils, isn't it? Ultimately, we should be looking to completely do away with these fossil fuels, move on to wind power, solar power, that sort of thing, rather than going for fracking.
While many of these students seem to be anti-fracking, few seem to have a real scientific understanding of the subject. Despite this, there are many good scientific reasons to argue against fracking.
One of the most prominent arguments used against fracking concerns the chemicals injected into the ground. These cocktails take up a small percentage of the liquid used, but contain many potentially harmful chemicals. While the exact content of the fluid is kept as a trade secret, the US government has compiled a list of chemicals commonly used. Among these is benzene, which is used to help lubricate the fractures created. Benzene is a potent carcinogen, needing a concentration of only 0.1% in water to be able to induce cancer formation. This shouldn't be a problem, as all wells are sealed after being emptied of natural gas. However, in the US, an estimated 6.2% of hydraulic fracturing wells experienced leakage, allowing benzene and other dangerous chemicals into the water supply.
Another concern is in the loss of the natural gas being mined. An estimated 2% of the natural gas escapes during the process of fracking and gas collection. Methane, the most common of the chemicals found in natural gas, is 60 times more potent as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide over a period of 20 years. This fact has led to multiple claims that fracking is more harmful to the environment than more conventional fossil fuels.
A less common, but equally important argument against fracking is the association of fracking plants and increased seismic activity. While the actual hydraulic fracturing process is only powerful enough to create the seismic energy of dropping a bag of sugar, according to one study, the fractures left behind are thought to induce earthquakes. In Youngstown, Ohio, where no earthquakes have previously been recorded, a series of 109 small earthquakes were detected in 2013, all around a fracking plant. The strongest of these earthquakes, measuring 3.9 on the Richter scale, was enough to disturb the ecology of the area and create property damage.
Despite all these points, there are some reasons to endorse fracking. Firstly, fracking's opponents argue that issues such as chemical leaks and natural gas release are not inherent in the process of fracking, and once the industry has received the time and money needed to develop, it can improve the safety and quality of its plants, reducing these negative factors. The main argument in favour of fracking is its advantage as an essential transition energy source while sustainable energy grows, and that if a fossil fuel is necessary, natural gas is a far less harmful fuel than the main fossil fuel, coal. Renewable energy is growing slowly at only 11.2% of the USA's total energy production in 2012. Fracking is required to supply gas power to make up the gap, while continuing to shrink the coal power percentage. Life cycle assessments have estimated that coal leads to twice as potent a greenhouse effect than natural gas, methane leakage included.
As well as this, natural gas is seen as the perfect flexible partner for sustainable energy. When the sun doesn't shine or the wind doesn't blow, natural gas power plants are the fastest way to begin running, taking only an hour in some cases as opposed to 6 or more hours with other power stations. As a result, the growth of the natural gas industry has not harmed the growth of the sustainable energy sector. Instead, the coal industry has been hit with the reduction, with the amount of coal used in the USA declining by an average of 50 million tonnes from 2008 to 2012.
On safety concerns, Professor Swithenbank, head of the Chemical and Process Engineering Department at the University of Sheffield, told us that fracking is, when a trained geologist does their job correctly, a safe method of fuel recovery. Cases of leakage and seismic activity can be drastically reduced by proper regulation and supervision of a geologist. When questioned on the development of the fracking industry, he told us that fracking has helped him to lead a revolution in energy availability, especially in the USA, replacing coal power that is more harmful to the environment due to higher carbon dioxide emissions.
In conclusion, fracking is an industry marred by technical issues and controversy. However, an investigation into the science of the issue revealed that it is a potentially very useful and flexible source of fuel, which is far safer than the conventional fossil fuel, coal power. Nearly all the issues surrounding fracking, such as leakage and seismic activity, are down to procedural errors, the risk of which can be drastically reduced with the use of regulation and supervision of a geologist on each site. From a purely scientific perspective, fracking is a potentially very useful method of energy collection, as long as it is regulated properly and scientifically and is developed in conjunction with truly sustainable energy.